Cars today are truly remarkable feats of engineering, boasting astounding advancements that would have seemed like science fiction just a decade ago. Features like self parking capabilities, GPS navigation systems guiding drivers to their destinations, and rear view cameras have become commonplace. In 2016, the automotive world was on the brink of witnessing fully automated, driverless vehicles navigating North American roads, an unprecedented achievement. This video explores the ideas behind those unique automobile innovations that failed. Despite the strides made in automotive safety, there exists a curious catalog of bizarre vehicle innovations that met with dismal failure. Here's a glimpse into 10 of the most peculiar automotive innovation flops. Let's get this video started. Number 10. The fifth wheel parking aid. Cadillac attempted to ease the frustrations of parallel parking as early as the 1950s with an innovative solution: a fifth wheel that could be deployed from the trunk when maneuvering into a tight spot. However, this solution presented its own set of challenges. While it assisted in swinging the car's rear end into place, it did nothing to move the front end closer to the desired spot, often necessitating further adjustment. Additionally, the bulky fifth wheel consumed a significant portion of the trunk space, limiting practicality for everyday use. Understandably, the public didn't embrace this solution wholeheartedly, especially when automobiles were primarily valued for their utility in long-distance transportation rather than intricate parking maneuvers. Ultimately, Cadillac deemed the fifth wheel impractical and discontinued its use shortly after. Number 9. Amphibious automobile. Now, who hasn't dreamt of driving an amphibious automobile? I mean, just think of the possibilities. You could be crushing down the road one minute, and the next, you're gliding into the water like a dream, your car transforming into an underwater ship. It's like something out of a Bond movie, right? Just imagine the look on your partner's face as you casually drive into the water. Priceless. One such model was the Amphibicar 770, introduced in Europe in 1959 and the US in 1961. Its dual capabilities, reaching 70 miles per hour on land and 7 knots on water, captured attention, including that of US President Lyndon B. Johnson, who enjoyed surprising passengers with impromptu water entries on his Texas ranch. However, these antics occasionally led to mishaps, prompting the Amphibicar's discontinuation in 1967. Despite this, several remain operational as attractions in Disney Springs, Florida, driving more responsibly than Johnson's pranks would suggest. Number 8. Front-mounted horse's head. A century ago, the transition from horse-drawn buggies to automobiles was a significant shift in transportation, especially with the rise of Ford Model T vehicles. However, not everyone embraced this new technology, particularly rural farmers who were apprehensive about car speed. To ease these concerns and make driving more familiar, some automakers offered a peculiar solution: attaching artificial horse heads to the front of their vehicles. In 1899, a Michigan-made vehicle dubbed the Horsey horseless carriage featured a fake horse head mounted on its front. Interestingly, the hollow head served a dual purpose. It was designed to store extra gasoline. However, this innovation posed safety concerns, particularly in the event of a collision or accident. Fortunately, this unconventional idea faded away, much like the era of horse-drawn buggies, as automobiles evolved and safety standards improved. Number 7. Children's partition. Road trips with kids can indeed test the patience of even the most resilient parents. That's why automakers explored a solution in the 1940s and 1950s, installing barriers between the front and back seats of cars. Inspired by the dividers found in celebrity limousines, These barriers aim to create a physical separation between parents in the front and their sometimes irritating children in the back. It seemed like a reasonable idea on paper, a way to grant parents some peace and quiet during the long drives. However, many parents balked at the notion of being unable to see or hear their children on the road. Their concerns about safety and communication ultimately led to the demise of this innovation. So, unfortunately, the dream of a blissfully quiet car ride for parents was shattered, thanks to the understandable anxieties of caring moms and dads. Number 6. Nuclear fusion engines. In 1958, Ford Motor Company unveiled a concept car dubbed the Ford Nucleon, which showcased a vision of how a nuclear-powered vehicle might function. This concept involved placing a nuclear reactor in the car's rear to generate power. Despite initial excitement, the practicalities and risks of nuclear-powered automobiles soon became apparent. The idea was deemed too expensive and potentially hazardous to pursue further. Consequently, nuclear powered cars were abandoned as a feasible option for mass production. However, remnants of this ambitious concept remain as historical curiosities. The Ford Nucleon, for example, can be viewed at the Henry Ford Museum in Dearborn, Michigan, serving as a testament to the automotive industry's innovative and sometimes audacious ideas during that era. Number 5. Small electric inner city transportation. The Sinclair C5, introduced in 1985, aimed to offer a compact electric alternative to traditional cars, an idea that remains relevant today. However, despite its innovative concept, the C5 faced numerous challenges that hindered its success. Priced at $399, equivalent to about $845 today, the C5 was significantly more expensive than a bicycle, but offered little additional utility. It lacked weather protection, had a limited range, and its battery drained quickly. Moreover, its safety features were on par with a bicycle, making it a less appealing option for many customers. Today, the Renault Twizy is a modern iteration of this concept, offering similar characteristics. While the Twizy is enjoyable to drive, its high price tag, around $7,000 new, makes it difficult to sell compared to traditional city cars available on the secondhand market. Significant price reductions are necessary for electric micro-mobility vehicles like the Twizy to gain widespread adoption. Only when these vehicles become more affordable will they have the potential to revolutionize urban transportation. Number 4. Rocket brakes. The concept of using rockets as brakes, as featured in the 1946 issue of Modern Mechanics, indeed sparked curiosity, but ultimately faced significant practical challenges. The fuel used in the rockets would burn several gallons of petrol in the event of a fire, posing a significant safety risk. Additionally, bystanders near the vehicle when the missiles were activated could be at risk of injury from the rocket exhaust. These safety concerns, coupled with the advent of less hazardous alternatives like disc brakes, led to the abandonment of the rocket brake concept. While intriguing, the risks associated with its implementation outweighed its potential benefits. Number 3. Steam engines. The steam automobile originated in 1670s China, where a Flemish missionary named Father Ferdinand Verbiest was able to create a steam-powered toy car to operate on its power. Around 100 years later, a man called Nicolas Cugnot invented a three-wheeled vehicle driven by an external steam engine that could transport passengers. The primary drawbacks of steam engines were that they were large, heavy, and sluggish. As a final gasp for the steam engine, a daring driver named Fred Marriott drove a Stanley steamer to 127 miles per hour in 1906, which remains the land speed record for a steam-powered vehicle. Despite this excellent performance, ICE engines were smaller and easier to maintain. Therefore, the steam concept never took off once automobiles went into mass production. Number 2, side-mounted flamethrowers. Side-mounted flamethrowers on cars may seem like something out of a movie. Still, they have been employed in certain regions, particularly South Africa, to deter carjackers and scare away wildlife. One infamous example is the BMW Blaster, a luxury car with side-mounted flamethrowers. However, such vehicles' legality and ethical implications have been wildly questioned. Flamethrowers are considered too violent and inhumane for use as weapons by most law enforcement agencies, with the United Nations even describing them as instruments of torture. Given these concerns and the potential for misuse, it's unlikely that side-mounted flamethrowers will become widespread innovations in the automotive industry. While they may offer a unique solution to specific challenges, their risks and ethical considerations outweigh their practicality in most contexts. Number 1, the Incar toilet. Yes, it is true. Cadillac built an automobile in 1947 that had a toilet. An actual functional toilet. This innovation was created to enable Cadillac to accomplish the milestone of driving over 10,000 kilometers nonstop. While this was a hoax, major automakers contemplated installing automobiles with toilets in the 1940s and 1950s. However, while the idea succeeded in a Cadillac concept car, it proved extremely difficult to implement in other automobiles. It was tough enough to identify a location for the toilet within the automobile, let alone a tank to keep the feces. However, there were concerns with the splashing, spraying, and messes, not to mention utilizing the end. Motorists found it far easier to pull over at a petrol station and use the loo than to crouch in the rear of a car. Oh, to contemplate what may have been. That's a wrap. Tell us which innovation you think should return. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and subscribe for the latest updates. My vote's for the toilets in the cars.